The next chapter that we're working on deals with variation. Today we're going to go over direct, inverse, combined, and joint variation. So to start with, direct variation's equation is y equals k times x. So if I wanted to solve that for k, because k is my constant that I'm eventually going to have to find, k is just going to be equal to y over x, because I need to get that k by itself. So if I was going to describe what it means to be a direct variation, I would say as one goes up, the other goes up. As one goes up, the other goes up. And then if I were to put this in words and give you an example, I would say something like, as the temperature goes up, the number of people at a pool go up. So the temperature going up, the people at a pool also go up. So they are based on one another. Okay, so next is inverse variation. Inverse, the equation is y equals k over x. So if I wanted to get the y or the k by itself in this one, my k would equal y times x. This one, as one goes up, the other goes down. So as one goes up, the other goes down. So then I would think about, okay, what's something that goes up as another one goes down? Well, I would say like plane tickets. As a plane ticket goes up, as the cost goes up, less people go. So cost of plane ticket, it's going to go up, and then the number of people are going to go down because people aren't going to want to pay as much. So they're going to wait and go on a vacation later. Combined variation and joint variation are pretty much the same thing. So we can kind of put that all as one. So y equals k times x times z. If I want to get the constant alone by itself here, the k value is going to equal to y divided by x times z. So in terms of words, it's really just something that's based off of each other, so it's all multiplied together. But think about like a rectangle. If you change any part of a rectangle, so if you change a length or a width, the area is going to change. So will the perimeter. So anything that you change is going to change the entire problem that has to do with the rectangle. Okay, so that's the basics of that. So let's go over different types of combined variation. So this one says that z varies jointly with x and y. Okay, so I know that z is going to be the one that varies jointly, so it's z equals. I always have to put my k value there because that's the constant we're multiplying by, and then x times y because that's what's in our equation here. Okay, the next one says that z varies jointly with x and y. So z is what we're equaling to. It varies jointly with x and y, but inversely with w. So my k is always going to go on top, x and y, and then it's going to be inverse with w, meaning w is going to be on the bottom of that. Okay, so then in our last one, z varies directly with x. So that's the first part, directly with x. So z equals, the k is on top, directly with x, and then inversely with the product of w and y. Product means multiplied together, so w and y are just multiplied together there. Okay, so now we're going to look at some actual equations with x and y in them, and we're going to decide which it is, if it is direct or inverse. So we're just working with those two, direct and inverse. So if I'm doing direct, I want to find my k value. So if I look back at the top with our equations, to find k is going to be equal to y over x. So I'm taking the y values and dividing it by the x. If I'm doing inverse, my k value is going to be equal to x times y. Okay, so we're going to see which of these match when we do multiple points of them. So let's start out here trying to decide if this is direct or not. So if it's direct, I'm going to do 40 divided by 0.5, because that's my y value divided by my x value. Well, 40 divided by 0.5 is 80. So let's check and see if the next one gives us 80 also. So I'm doing 12 divided by 1.2. And that is going to give me 10. Okay, so those don't match. So it is not direct. So now let's check and see if it's inverse. To see if it's inverse, I'm taking x times y. So let's use our first two. So 40 times 0.5 is going to give me 20. The next one I'm going to do is 1.2 times 12, which is going to give me 14.4. Okay, so again, those don't match, so it's not inverse. So this is going to be neither. Okay, it's not direct and it's not inverse. So let's check out our next one. Okay, check and see if it's direct first. So y divided by x. 8 divided by 0.2. When I do 8 divided by 0.2, I get 40. Check this one. 20 divided by 0.5. When you put that in your calculator, you're also going to get 40. So that means that my k value is 40. What that also tells me is that this is direct. So I need to come up with an equation for this. I know that my k value is 40, so I just want to plug it into the original direct equation. That's y equals k times x. So y is equal to 40x. All right, so then let's check our last one. Okay, so 40 divided by 0.2, that's going to give me 200. 16 divided by 0.5 is going to give me 32. So this means it's not direct. So now I want to check and see if it's inverse. I'm going to go ahead and take that down to the bottom down here. For inverse, I'm doing 40 times 0.2 because it's x times y. 40 times 0.2 gives me 8. My next one is 16 times 0.5, which also gives me 8, which is perfect. So that means that this is going to be inverse. My k value is going to be 8. And I go back to my original equation, which is y equals k over x. Replace what I know and say y equals 8 over x. And that's my final equation for this.